Welcome to Veterans Voice, where we highlight programs and services that support our veterans. I'm James Mabel. We enter 2022 hopefully seeing COVID in our rear view, a healthy job market, and looking at midterm elections later in the year. We have a more urgent sense than ever of the importance of being involved in our greater community. Veterans can have such a pivotal role in what happens locally, regionally, and nationally. We're joined by Dr. LaShondra Jones from the City of Houston Mayor's Office, Office of Veterans and Military Affairs, to learn more. Dr. Jones, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first, being a veteran is important to the identity of many who served. Why is identifying to others as a veteran important?
First of all, again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of Veterans Voice. It's very important that those of us who've served self-identify, not only because of the benefits that are out there, but because we want people to know that, hey, we were called out. Many have gone to combat and have not, so much as given their entire life as those who are no longer with us, but have given their selfless sacrifice service to this country, to this nation, so that we can have many of the rights that we are afforded today. And I just think it's just very important. And not only that, but also so that that camaraderie ship can continue. So when you see other veterans, you're just excited to see another veteran, and you start having those conversations about where they serve, when they serve, what branch they serve, and it just brings about a joyous time and joyous occasion, at least for that moment in time when you see another veteran.
Well, I completely agree with that. I'm a veteran myself, and it's always great to hear from those, whether at work or in the community, that have served as well, and to share stories of, where you served and the things you experienced. And you're a veteran yourself, correct?
Yes, I actually served right out of high school, 94 to 1998. It was never the plan to go to the armed forces. The plan was to go to school. I was going to be a lawyer. And that was my plan until that guy in that uniform came to our school, and I said, well, this might be a good option. And I haven't regretted a day of my service in the Marine Corps for those 4 years.
Oh, wow. Well, Semper Fi. So why should veterans be involved in public policy?
Veterans should be involved in public policy because many of these public policies affect us directly. We want to make sure that veterans are out voting, making sure that they know what's happening, whether it's to them locally, statewide, or on the federal level. We certainly don't want to come to a situation where our benefits are cut, and you have those who depend upon federal benefits to survive day to day. Many of our disabled vets, that's the only income that they have. So we want to make sure that we are involved so that those things that involve us, those things that involve our grandparents, our parents, our siblings, our neighbors, we want to make sure that they continue to have these resources, in addition to something as simple as just disabled parking. We want to make sure that those who are disabled are able to be close to the door of the stores that they go to for shopping. We want to make sure that there's just things that are there specifically for those who have served, who are maybe not so much as that little young virile person that they once were when they went into the military, but now they're up in years, so we have to continue to take care of them. So it's very important that we stay involved in policy, that we know what's going on. And many of these that are serving, that are our politicians or elected officials, didn't serve. So it's important that we have our voices heard, that we go to the state capitol, that we call our legislators, that we show up in DC to say, hey, this directly affects me, this directly affects my community, and we want to make sure that it doesn't hurt us or harm us in any way for years to come.
Excellent. So, a lot of people, including veterans, might think one vote can't make a difference, like in an election, for example. Are they accurate by that statement?
So every voice, every vote counts. I've heard it be said, I think a couple of years ago, Wrangel, he was actually, I think, a World War II vet. He was talking about bringing the draft back. Who wants to see that? right? So it's important that we get our votes out there, that we let them know whatever the situation is, even if it is something that's as serious as a draft. Hey, no, I don't want my child to be drafted. I don't want my grandchild to be drafted. I want an all volunteer force as it's been the last 30, 40 plus years. So it's very important that every person gets out and vote. And these initiatives where the veterans voting initiatives, I actually have one here locally in Houston where, hey, if you're a veteran, no matter what area you serve in, if you need a ride to the polls, if you need to be registered to vote, if you're a formerly incarcerated veteran and you want to go vote, we're here to make sure that you get to the polls and that you're aware of the candidates there on the ticket. So yeah, every vote matters, every vote counts.
And you spoke about just getting involved and supporting veterans who want to go out and vote, but just being involved and getting involved is very, very important. So regarding veteran service organizations, can you tell us what resources they offer and to those who have served or those who are currently serving?
So there are a wide variety of resources here in the city of Houston. And it is my job, my goal, and my office goal to make sure that all the veterans here in the local Harris, Houston area are aware of these resources, whether it's financial assistance, whether it's just signing up for disability benefits, whether it's you're homeless or you're about to be homeless and you just need a little bit of assistance. One thing about veterans is we can be very stubborn. Right? So we sometimes don't want to go and ask for help, although we need it the most sometimes. Also, we have a such thing as veterans treatment courts. So those who are find themselves on the wrong end of the law get to go to veterans treatment court to deal with their situation. So it's things like that, resources like that are very important that we continue to have, and that we let our fellow veterans know that, hey, this is happening in the community. This is what's going on. This is what's available to you just because you served. Some of them, of course, are restricted to honorable discharges, but there are a whole entire another set of resources that are available for just because you served. Doesn't matter what your discharge was. So it is very important that we get the word out there and that we just let our brothers and sisters know, and their spouses, their families, their kids, let them know, hey, this is here for you in case you need it, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Oh, that's excellent. What about organizations out there that you partner with that can help veterans with employment? Can you provide a few examples of those?
Absolutely. So we have an organization called Combined Arms. Within Combined Arms, what you do is you just register. You go to the drop-down tabs and you identify who you are, whether you're actively serving, whether you're a veteran, whether you're a spouse. And then you're able to go and you're able to click on the things that you're looking for, the assistance that you need, and then they will contact you within 24 to 48 hours to connect you with those agencies. In addition to that, the Texas Veterans Commission. If you go to any Texas Workforce Solution, there is a department, a section there where you actually go past everybody else. You're able to see an actual veteran counselor that would assist you with whatever employment goals that you have at that time. So there's a lot of different places, a lot of different organizations. We have Goodwill Houston, we have BakerRipley. There's a lot of agencies that are there to assist with any type of employment needs that you have, and training as well.
Well, thank you for sharing. We're with Dr. LaShondra Jones with the Mayor's Office of Veterans and Military Affairs. After the break, we'll get local with how veterans can contribute to continue to serve their country.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Nobody likes an awkward silence, but you can actually use it for something good.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
What does moving forward look like? Houston Community College has hundreds of choices. Small class sizes and personalized support to help you do just that. Enroll today for spring classes and frame your future with HCC.
Hey,
Welcome back to Veterans Voice. We're talking with Dr. LaShondra Jones from the City of Houston Mayor's Office, Office of Veterans and Military Affairs. Welcome back, Dr. Jones.
Thank you for having me back.
So before the break, we were discussing veteran services organizations. Tell us a bit about what the Mayor's Office of Veterans and Military Affairs does.
So what our office does is we make sure that we are supporting agencies in the local community. Any agency that focuses on veterans, that assists veterans in any type of way. We make sure that any veteran that calls here or actually shows up at City Council, because we will have that sometimes, we make sure that they are individually assisted, that they are receiving any type of request that they have. Of course, we can't save the world, but we try to do what we can to help as many veterans as we can. I don't know if you are aware, but Houston has the second largest population of veterans in the nation. So that's a lot of veterans. So that's over 250,000 veterans here in the local Houston-Harris County area. And surprisingly, I found out once I got here that a large portion of employees with the city of Houston are actually veterans. So one of my first goals for the 2022 is that our office reaches out to these veterans and let them know what our office does, and also some of the resources in the community. Sometimes you got to take care of home before you take care of what's outside of home. So often veterans leave the armed services and they go to the civilian sector, get that job, corporate America, a civilian job or government job, and you sort of distance yourself from the armed services. And so now it's like 10, 15, 20 years later, and you just, you have no concept of what's happening in the veteran community. So we want to make sure that veterans within the city of Houston that are employed with the city of Houston and those who are around the local, again, Harris County area, make sure that they know the services and the things that they are owed. Nobody's begging for anything, but things that are owed just because they did serve. Want to make sure that they are aware of the VA, that they are aware of PTSD counseling, that they are aware that there is military sexual trauma counseling, and none of this has to get back to your employer. I have a lot of HPD friends that have been afraid to come forward and say, hey, I have an issue with this, I have an issue with that, because they're afraid that it's going to get back to their job. So here we make sure that everything's confidential. And we just do what we can to make sure that each veteran who is under the sound of our voice, within miles of our office, is aware of what we offer and what we do and what we are looking to do for the veterans in this area. And our actually very next event is the Vietnam Veterans Day, which is March 29th. We're going to honor Vietnam veterans. We have a large portion of those here in the area, so we want to just take some time to let them know that we honor them from their service, their selfless sacrifice. And again, another just thank you and welcome home.
Thank you for sharing that awesome event coming up. And speaking of that and the resources that your office provides, how can veterans, either new to the community of those who've been here, get connected with your office?
So of course, it's 2022. One of the things that we do to connect with one another is what? Social media. That's like the best way to contact an organization or to find things on that good old internet. So we have a Facebook page. We're always posting, we're always updating on things that are happening in the community, whether it's with the veteran organization, a Legion post or VFW post or any other event that we think may be good for veterans to attend. We're always posting on social media. In addition to that, if they just want to call or email us, we're here to assist and support in that way as well. So if you just go to the City of Houston website, you can click on our link on our Facebook page, the City of Houston Mayor's Office of Veteran and Military Affairs. You will find us. And again, we have recently added the military affairs part in the recent years because we do have some installations here that are locally. And we're doing our best to make sure that they feel included while they're stationed here in the Houston area.
And speaking of inclusion, obviously our veterans are on the front line and serving here in the United States, but also abroad, but also their families are serving and sacrificing. So are there opportunities that exist for family members to get involved as well?
Absolutely. There's always an opportunity for a military spouse or military kid to get involved, whether it's in a local event where they're giving back, such as a Mission Continues, or if that spouse is just in need of counseling themselves. There's a couple of affinity groups that focus specifically on spouses. Again, if you call our office, if you go to a couple of different local agencies, they will point you in the right direction, but we're asking that you come here first so that we can assist you. It's myself and my director, which is Director Dimbo. He's Navy, I'm Marine, so we work very well together. But those resources are definitely there for spouses and military kids as well, because that's a unit. We can't just focus on the veteran. We want to make sure that the spouse is taken care of and that the children are as well.
Excellent. So how can the general civilian population support your office's mission?
The best way, I guess, would be through the local events that we have. There's sometimes fundraisers, and again, there's opportunities to give back. We have corporations. They're always looking to have that day of giving worth or giving back, whether it's to paint a house of a disabled veteran, whether it's just to cut the grass of a disabled veteran, whether it's just to come out for Toys for Tots and donate some toys for kids around the area. Anything that a veteran may need. We also need the support of civilians. Veterans Day, come out to the parades and just cheer us on. Cheer on the veterans that are walking so proudly with their medals and their hats and their vests and their motorcycles. Just come out and just support us in that way as well. But we just need, of course, our civilian population to continue to embrace us, not just when we come home from war, but anytime after that.
Thank you so much for that. Dr. Jones, you mentioned serving in the Marines, and there's that motto, it says band of brothers, but it really is a band of brothers and sisters. And as we both have served in the Marine Corps, it's a very small group. Can you tell us about your experience serving in the Marine Corps as a woman?
Very hard, very challenging. It's actually one of the reasons why I got out, because at that time, and you would think I'm talking about the 60s or 70s, but I'm just talking about the 90s. There were limited opportunities for me to travel. You know how your recruiter tells you, of course, when you're 17 and 18, oh, you're going to travel the world, you're going to see all the different seas and the oceans around the world. And for me, I did not get to do any of that. And so, of course, on my exit interview, I told them, well, the reason why I'm moving on is because I didn't get a chance to travel like my brothers did. They come back from Australia, they come back from the ship because they've seen the world, they've been to the coast of Africa. And I'm listening to these stories and I'm like, you know, I didn't get a chance to do any of that. And that was because of my role in the Marine Corps. I was a female. There weren't areas for a female Marine to travel unless you were an officer or if you were a naval officer or corpsman. So I did my 4 years, and by the time I was 21, I was actually starting my life after having had served my country. So it was very challenging, but I'm glad to see that things have changed. But the one good thing that I can say, I was able to have a band of brothers, as you mentioned, that I'll have for life. These guys, they had my back, they had my six. And I have these guys that I still talk to. And again, they're my brothers and those who I've met in recent years. I still consider them brothers as well, because we trade stories, and just because we're Marines, we have each other back. And then we have the other branches as well. So we just come together as a family. We make sure that we take care of each other no matter what branch we were in. Make sure that we're taking care of each other and that we're doing what we have to do to keep that brother or that sister to continue to move forward.
Dr. Jones, thank you very much for sharing your story, and thank you for joining us on Veterans Voice.
Thank you for having me.
After the break, we'll learn from Houston Community College how it helps veterans get on their feet and on the ground at HCC.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
We discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things,
But they're all pure love.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
La forma en la que ves tus opciones puede cambiar en un minuto. Houston Community College te ayuda a encontrar tu camino con más de 200 programas que te abren oportunidades a puestos de trabajo. Inscríbete hoy para las clases de primavera y enfoca tu futuro con HCC.
Welcome back to the Veterans Voice. Sometimes veterans and affiliated students can find themselves a little lost or disoriented in the civilian world, and entering the unfamiliar world of college adds a layer of complexity. Olga Schultz, HCC school certifying official with the Veteran and Military Affiliated Student Success, or VMASS department, joins us. Olga, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Tell us about the new mentoring program that VMASS is offering.
We are over the moon. It is a mentorship program that we've been working on. It's kind of a hands-on, user-friendly guide. We developed it in hopes to reach and support some of our students, our community. When I say our community, I mean our veteran community, to include military affiliated students. I myself am a recent retired Navy spouse. My husband just retired, 25 years. And so to me, it's both. It's you guys and them. But that's why we decided this program had to be launched. It's kind of a guide. When you leave the military world, and in both cases as a veteran and as an affiliated student or a dependent, you come into this civilian world and sometimes you're a little lost and disoriented. So this is our way to guide our students through the process of becoming successful students. So we want to help them through their academic success by providing a guide for them that helps them find the resources that they need to be successful, not just in school, but in life. So that's what the program is hopefully going to do for our student population.
Excellent. Well, first, thank your husband for his service, and thank you for your service as well. As being his spouse, 25 years is quite some time. It's just really, really commendable. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will definitely let him know.
So tell us, more about what the program would offer and how does it add to what is already available through VMASS?
So what we're hoping to offer with the launching of this program is internal and external resources. So what we'd like to do is provide students links and web pages and just general contact information for them to have access to in-house community things that are already provided by HCC to all students, but sometimes are hard to find. Even as a regular student, it's a struggle to go through. There's so much that's offered, which is a wonderful thing, but sometimes it's overwhelming. And we're trying to get to it as a quick, easy access with links to things like registration. How do I reach registration? How do I contact the bookstore? I need testing services. Where do I go? I need some counseling. I need financial aid. Things like that are sometimes difficult to navigate, even though we have one of the best, easy to use, user-friendly type websites. It's still sometimes it's a lot because there is so much. So that's one of the things that we hope to do internally.
Oh, excellent. I know a lot of veterans, may have been serving, like your husband for 25 years. And so college is different or any structured education like that. It has been a number of years since they've been exposed to that. So it sounds like your program would bode well for those who are coming to college for the first time and getting basically onboarded and acclimated with the services and resources that are available on campus and externally.
Right. Yes, that's absolutely one of the, we're trying to decide what do we want to call it. Do we want to call it onboarding? Do we want to call it in-doc? I mean, it was kind of, we were playing with the words, and we ultimately decided that it's a type of mentoring program. It's a guide with some assistance. So, we do also offer external assistance, which is key to the full experience. So life isn't just about academics. And sometimes academics gets overshadowed by what's happening in life events. So we try to offer external resources in this mentoring program as well. So programs can have, they have access to a plethora of other resources that are not just inside of HCC, but also outside of HCC.
And can you elaborate a little bit more about some of those external resources, provide examples of some of the partnerships you have?
Sure, absolutely. So one of the things that we're working on with this guide is the external resources would be, we at the VMASS department work very closely with some organizations that are already in the minds of a lot of our veterans. And some of them are, there's a lot of redundancy of what's out there, but sometimes they're not necessarily aware. They may have known it originally when they left the military because it's kind of beat into them. This is there, but it's a lot. And so we've kind of come together with some organizations like Combined Arms, Goodwill, Navy Federal, Lone Star Legal, Workforce Solutions. There's just so much out there that is beyond just, I have to go to school. They may need housing. They may need legal assistance. Some students may need childcare, medical. We want to make sure that the student has that one-stop shop where they can literally just have a guide available to them, and they don't have to go looking through the website or typing Google, hey, I need help with this. They can use their guide to get everything that they need. It's a little tiny Bible.
Very well. And tell us about where the mentors may come from, what maybe the types of organizations they represent. How do you vet those mentors as well?
Okay, so presently, what we have been so blessed because we have so many gracious volunteers that have come forward from our own institution. So from Houston Community College, we have a huge population of staff and faculty that are themselves veterans and military affiliated. And they've come forward when we started kind of putting together some of these ideas and throwing it out there. They've come forward and they said, hey, we want to help, because we know that there's veterans out there who would identify with us, because I'm a Marine and I want to speak to a fellow Marine, or I'm in the Air Force and I want to speak to someone that was in the Air Force that can relate, because that at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about relating and having that experience and having that safe comfort zone that you can share something and they'll totally understand what you're talking about, as opposed to, hate to say it, but as opposed to civilians who may not really get it. These volunteers get it and they offered to help, and they would be reaching out. So they may not necessarily, change your life, but they'll hear you, they'll have encouraging words for you, and they'll help you find the resources you need to become successful in what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, thank goodness for staff members that have served their country coming and stepping up again and serving veterans. So our final question, how does a student veteran get involved in the mentoring program?
So it's wonderful. We're getting ready to launch it coming soon on the Houston Community webpage. There'll be a veterans military affiliated to our site. There's going to be an opportunity for people, or veterans and military affiliated, to sign up. It's an interactive online application. You fill it out, you request to join the program. Once you've joined and signed and submit, it's automatic. We receive it. A volunteer will go through the application, assign you wherever you need to be as far as which mentor might be best for you if you choose, because we're going to ask you, of course, what branch of service you're in and who you'd like to speak to, if you'd like to speak to someone specifically in that branch, and then we'll guide you through there. And once you've done that, once you've filled out the application, you get the guide and it's yours to use and utilize and take advantage of it. And it's a gem. It's a wonderful opportunity, I think.
Well, thank you so much for sharing about the mentoring program and VMASS's resources and partnerships. Thank you, Olga.
Thank you so much for having us. I can't wait to see this go through and be successful, because I'm sure it's going to be.
I know it will. So if you'd like more information on any of the organizations and services you've seen on the program today, please visit our website at hccs.edu/VeteransVoice. An audio version of this show is available on Apple Podcasts. Just search for the HCC TV Podcast Network and then hit the subscribe button. From everyone here at HCC TV, thank you for joining us on Veterans Voice.